Hello, and welcome back to Misty Morrison Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 53 of Petty Please, Take 2. Here on the Misty Morrison Podcast, we love to read or listen. We love to look at all these stories of pettiness, revenge, entitlement, bad neighbors, bad bosses, all the things, and be grateful that that is not our story. Before we get into our stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. I am trying to build an independent entrepreneurship dream here. If you like the content, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, comment with your thoughts on the stories down below, share it with a friend, subscribe for more, leave a 5-star review if you can. All the things. Okay. Long-form content goes live twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and short-form content goes live 3 times daily. Before we really get into the stories now, this is take 2 of episode 53 of Petty Please, because this was the second of 2 episodes that I unknowingly recorded without my audio. As I talked about in episode 64 of Was I in the Wrong, that came out just 2 days before this episode will come out. I took the shotgun mic off my camera to do pictures, and when I put it back on, I thought I had it plugged in, but I only had it halfway plugged in, so neither the attached microphone or the built-in microphone recorded. So while I normally read and respond blind, I have read these before, but that's been a couple days ago, and I don't remember what they were. So it's almost blind. So we are going to get right on into our stories for the day, and do better to monitor our sound going forward. Also, it is raining and humid here, and there's no hope for my hair, so we're just going to ignore that. Okay, story number 1 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. My best friend roasted a guy so bad he left the party we were at. Now I remember this one. My then 27 male and my best friend, then 26 male, were at a party a while ago. It was mostly people we knew, some close friends, others acquaintances. One guy showed up that my buddy and I can't stand. Let's call him Daniel. My best friend and I are usually polite to Daniel and tolerate him as he's pretty much embedded in our social circle. He has proven himself serial monogamous type guy at best, predator at worst. Daniel has this habit of dating girls in our social circle and any new female who gets brought around, effing them for a week or 2 and then ghosting them. When the women get upset, this asshole tells anyone who will listen that the girl is crazy and or a stalker. You get the picture. There were even rumors of him briefly dating a minor, although no one could prove it. The thing that pissed my best friend off the most is that Daniel targeted his older sister one night when she was fall down drunk. Luckily, we were there and wouldn't let him take her home, even though he swore up and down that he would make sure she got home safe. Hell no. No way we were going to let this scumbag take her anywhere that night. Back to the night in question. Daniel showed up in blue jeans, a bright red karate GI top, a black belt, and a headband with a kana symbol on it. He was the kind of guy who would experiment with all kinds of eccentric outfits. However, this time it didn't take long for people to start making fun of him. My friend and I just drank beer and enjoyed all the quips thrown at Daniel for his outfit. For the most part, he just sort of laughed it off, but we could tell it was bothering him. It was obvious he thought he expected to get a ton of compliments, but what he got was jeers and hilarious jokes about his appearance. Later that night, a bunch of us were sitting around a large table, including Daniel. Someone asked if Daniel came here directly from the YMCA karate class. We all laughed. That was when my best friend chimed in and said, "Guys, come on, give Daniel a break." I saw the relief in Daniel's face at having someone stick up for him. Then my friend continued. "I mean, hasn't he had a hard enough time? Don't you remember when he was trying to ride his bike home and Cobra Kai knocked him down that hill?" I'm here to tell you, the laughter was deafening. I actually fell out of my chair thinking I was going to pee myself. My best friend's timing was perfect, and he said it loud enough for half the party to hear it. Daniel had had enough. He took his headband off and just left. We were all still laughing long after the door closed behind him. This happened quite a long time ago, but we still laugh about it. Edit, it should be mentioned that the night Daniel tried to take my best friend's drunk sister home, there was a much stronger reaction than I let on. My best friend got in Daniel's face aggressively, and there was almost a fight. My best friend and I tolerated him up till that point. After this happened, though, he was pariah to us. Also, the last time I saw Daniel before I moved a few states away, he crashed a house party my best friend and I were hosting. We lived together at the time. It didn't take long for Daniel to piss me off, and I kicked him out. He started talking shit to a friend of mine outside, and Daniel ended up getting his ass kicked. Our social circle got smaller and smaller until I moved. I'm a lot pickier about the social gatherings I go to now. Edit 2. It was pointed out to me that calling Daniel a serial monogamous person was inaccurate. Okay, I thought so. I wondered about that phrase. I agree it was a poor choice of words. F-boy is way more accurate. Predator works too. Also, there are always going to be people who think a story is fake. I just can't understand for the life of me why anyone would think this was AI. This account is 14 years old and the post even had grammatical errors. I can assure you, this all happened. Oh goodness, well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that your social circle, and rightly so, got smaller as the years went on because it is all about quantity. No, it is all about quality, not quantity, when it comes to friends. It's about having good friends, not how many you have. So I'm glad to hear that that happened. I'm glad you guys were there that night. You were able to protect your best friend's sister. And it really sounds like Daniel had this coming for a long time. So I don't feel bad for him. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. Best use of matching sweaters. I went to a small southern college where everyone knew everyone. Girlfriend 1, GF1, decided that we needed matching sweaters. In her defense, she picked out 2 really nice, really distinctive sweaters. She looked great in hers and wore it all the time, but there's no way in hell I was going to wear mine in public. Fast forward a few years, and girlfriend 1 was his boyfriend 2. He was a weightlifter and always wore muscle shirts. Can't fault him for that. He was really strong. Meanwhile, I started dating girlfriend 2, who immediately rifled through my closet and dresser because she was nosy and wanted to see if there was anything she could borrow. She nearly died laughing when she pulled out the matching sweater. She knew girlfriend 1 and recognized the sweater instantly. Like a lot of people by this point, she really didn't like girlfriend 1. Girlfriend 2 was also about my height, and so claimed the matching sweater as hers. I was happy to unload it. But then came the ultimate pettiness. It was Halloween, so I cut off the sleeves of an old t-shirt. Girlfriend 2 put on the matching sweater, and we went out as girlfriend 1 and boyfriend 2. The first person we see is girlfriend 1's roommate. She looked at us, laughed, and said, "You people are evil." Best couple's costume ever. And then I can see the comments because it was a short story, and the first one asked, "Please tell me you went to the same party as girlfriend 1 and boyfriend 1, and boyfriend 2. Group photo, anyone?" And OP did reply to that one and said, "We never actually ran into them," which is so sad because that would have been so much more hilarious. You know that the roommate did go home and tell her. You know she told her. But it just, because I can just imagine their faces if they walk into a party and see you guys there dressed up as them. It could have been so funny. Okay, but I mean it was harmless. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/neighbors from hell. Neighbor made multiple false 911 reports about my garage, including meth lab. My boyfriend and I are in our 20s, work normal 9-to-5 jobs, and live in a quiet apartment with a single-car garage. It's the kind where you can barely open one door depending on how you park. Just keep that in mind, LOL. We have had no prior issues or complaints. Our previous neighbor never reported noise, smells, and we were friendly with them. For context, my boyfriend has been working on an older car in the garage on weekends, mostly assembly work. I'm pretty sensitive to sounds and smells, but I never notice when he's down there or when I go into the garage. This is not against the lease, and I see several people working on cars in garages/outside on a weekly basis. A new neighbor moved in next door about 3 weeks ago. Shortly after moving in, she made minor complaints about a door slamming and a garage fan noise. We apologized and fixed both immediately. My boyfriend fixed the shared hallway door and even showed her inside the garage while turning the fan off. Then, late one night, the fire department showed up after a 911 call reporting a chemical smell coming from our garage. We let them in right away. They checked everything and said there was no smell, no hazard, and no issue. Said we were good and left. The neighbor was gone, so they couldn't test the source of a smell anywhere else. 2 days later, after 10 p.m., multiple police officers, approximately 4 vehicles, 5 to 6 officers, responded to another 911 call reporting that we were operating a drug lab in our garage. We again let them right into the garage. They checked the garage and saw there was nothing suspicious, no chemical odors, and no indication of illegal activity, and left within 5 minutes, saying they were expecting a full-blown meth lab. I got a copy of the police reports. The reporting party directly stated we were making drugs, had a blowtorch and a fire extinguisher. That part sounds like safety. May have been armed, and they evacuated due to danger. None of this is true in any way, except we do have a couple of fire extinguishers, lol. The police report stated that there was no indication of drugs, smell, or anything illegal. I think they knew we would want the report because it was very detailed about how inviting we were and that there was absolutely zero issues. The very next morning, we received an email from apartment management instructing us to stop immediately or face legal action, accusing us that we are in violation of our lease for operating a car detailing business out of the garage. A car detailing business? It's just so absurd. There's one car in there with no engine that hasn't moved in weeks. We did not receive any prior written notice or entry letter, any attempt at inspection from management or maintenance. The first communication was this email threatening legal action. The email also stated they attempted to call us multiple times and we didn't answer. I literally pulled phone records for both of us and there were no calls or voicemails from the apartment. I don't know why they would lie about that. When we contacted the leasing office, they said the neighbor told them that police believe we were running a business, which directly contradicts the police report. They also claimed multiple neighbors were affected by a strong smell, which must be a lie. There is no smell. We offered multiple times for them to come inspect the garage immediately, but days later, no one has come to check or even said they might. At this point, the fire department has found no issue. The police have documented no issue. There have been multiple false 911 reports with escalating claims. And management has issued a warning threatening legal action without verifying anything. It's so insidious to me. She said we had weapons, and I'm honestly just scared and confused. What would you do? Insidious is a good word here because this is absolute insanity. I'm going to read a few comments. The first comment says, file harassment charges against her and ask the police to file against her for making false police reports. Take a copy of the complaint and the results of both investigations to the leasing office and let them know if she doesn't stop. You are filing a restraining order against her. And then file a massive complaint with the leasing office against her. I never thought about a restraining order or harassment charges. Brilliant. That's why we're on Reddit in the comment section. OP replied to that one and said, we told department manager if there's one more incident, we're filing for harassment. Why wait? She's done enough. There's no reason for you to wait at this point. Don't wait. That's how you become homeless. But I feel like you have enough on your side now between the fire department reports and police reports to be able to prove you were in the right. And if they did file an eviction notice, to fight it in court and win. That's my opinion. The next comment says, yes, file a complaint now. They're also utilizing public resources when they could be needed elsewhere for a real emergency. Good point. Next comment says, yes, it's well past that point. File a harassment complaint ASAP. Next one, I didn't think about this. Next one says, they tried to SWAT you. That's how you become dead. The next comment says, do it now with the police. Don't give the neighbors another chance to hurt you. The report said the police were told you were armed. You and your boyfriend could have been shot if the police had responded with force. Your landlord may also have the responsibility to protect you, not be part of the harassment. See if your state has something like this, and they gave a link. Or if you live in California, use it. The next comment says, OP this. Your neighbor's attempt at swatting you could have ended with someone getting shot. The one more incident that you are waiting for might be the one where someone actually does. Follow up with the police department on the neighbor's 911 call. This was patently illegal and by the sounds of it, is also already well documented by the police. Make sure that the police also know about the visit to the fire department. If the fire department has an incident report for that visit, then see if you can get a copy for the police. You should also send your apartment management a written complaint about this ongoing harassment, mentioning not only the imaginary detailing business, but also the calls to the fire department and the police with all the pertinent details. Don't wait for one more incident because it could turn out to be one too many. That gave me chills. The next comment, I never thought of this, and this is really good to know. It says, Freedom of Information Act request can be used to get the dispatch calls as evidence. Some districts delete calls, so timing is critical. I would not have thought about that. Yeah, it goes on. But those were the best ones I saw up first, with really great advice for our OP here. This was 11 days ago, and there's no update, but I'm going to check their profile. That is their only post. Yeah, so from all the comments, file harassment complaint, ask the police to file for false reporting, get a restraining order at this point. Like, I think you can qualify for a restraining order. And good to know, Freedom of Information Act request to get the call logs. Yeah, that one took a turn I was not expecting. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/pro revenge. Gas thief revenge. I was told this belonged here, so I'm reposting. Had a neighbor that would walk into my backyard, take my gas can of gas from my mower, and put it in his car and mower, and then return the can. I found this out because I had begun to be a little suspicious that this 5-gallon can was always nearly empty every time I went to mow the lawn, and it was only like a 1-quart tank on the lawnmower. This was back before cheap, easy security cameras, so I had to set up a webcam from my laptop with motion detection software. You put the work in. Caught the guy going into the backyard literally 5 minutes after I left the house. For the next week, every time I had to take a pee, I peed in that gas can. Now full of pee, but still smells enough like gas to fool an idiot. Then I left it on the back patio again. Made a big show of checking the fluids in my car, packing a few bags, made sure the neighbor knew I was getting ready to go on a trip and I'd be gone for a while, hoping he takes the bait. I come back home in about an hour. Car trouble. The thief is in his front yard pulling the rope on his lawnmower so hard it looks like he's going to have a stroke. Turning bright red and cursing. Later he gets in his car and makes it a couple blocks up the road and it suddenly breaks down. I check the gas can on my patio. Empty. Also, I just wanted to add, this guy was a huge piece of crap. That's not the only thing he did. I found out he had arrest warrants, so I ended up getting him arrested by applying for a sheriff's ride-along program in his name. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would say this one was good revenge. While he did deserve some kind of revenge or punishment, the fact that you used the warrants against him and basically told the cops where he was, that was brilliant. That was great. And I understand what you did with tricking him with the gas can, but I don't know when this was. But I know he could claim damage to property because you intentionally, even though he was stealing, yes, he was wrong, but it could claim damage to property because you sabotaged what was supposed to be in the can. You switched it for something else with the intent of damaging his property, making the car and the motor break down. So he could claim that, but also he's in jail. He had warrants, like he's just probably going to look back and be like, damn it, the neighbor got me. So yeah, I wouldn't have taken this route, but I don't blame you for taking this route either. I think we need to read one more. Let me find one real quick, because I don't think we have enough time for my second recording. The first time I had 21 minutes, and now I only have 18 minutes. So, okay, this one's a short one. Story number 5 is coming to us from r/petty revenge. My manager kept emailing me past 10 p.m. expecting quick replies, so I started replying to every single one of his emails exactly 24 hours later. My manager has this habit of sending emails at like 10, 11 p.m., sometimes midnight. Casual stuff, not emergencies. Just things that could absolutely wait until morning. And there was always this unspoken expectation that you'd seen it and were on top of it by the time stand-up rolled around. I never said anything. I just started quietly implementing a policy of my own. Every email he sends me, regardless of when it was sent, I reply exactly 24 hours later. Not 23, not 25. I set a reminder. I draft the reply immediately so I don't forget. Then I just sit on it and send it the next day at whatever time he originally sent it. 11:47 p.m. Email about Q3 projections. Reply comes at 11:47 p.m. the following night. 6 a.m. Saturday email. Saturday, 6 a.m. reply the next week. He started sending emails earlier and earlier. I think trying to get ahead of whatever delay I had going on. I just kept the 24-hour window regardless. He never said anything directly. How could he? My replies were always thorough and nothing ever actually got delayed because I was drafting them immediately anyway. It's been 4 months. He now sends almost everything before noon. I consider this a personal and professional success. I agree as well. That is success on all fronts. Yeah. I love this one. And that always gets me when management, upper level, anyone will send emails late at night or on the weekend when the rest of the staff is not working those hours or when the majority of the staff is not working those hours. If you send something after end of business day on a Friday or over the weekend, it's getting buried in other emails by the time people get there to check them on Monday. There's no point. The schedule send is one of my favorite features. At work, we have Outlook. So that's one of my favorite features. You just press the arrow, schedule send, and you can pick out when you want to send. Like I'll normally draft something and I'll have it scheduled to send on a certain day at 8 o'clock on the dot. It's easy. It's easy. I love this one. This is brilliant. And I mean, you're not breaking any rules. Like you're still replying prompt. Within 24 hours, I consider prompt. This is good. You win at revenge. Okay. That is 5 stories for this week's episode of Petty Please, Take 2. Thank you for being here for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast. Remember, kindness changes everything. Give others the grace you would hope to receive. And I will see you guys next time for another episode. Bye.